So when I was overseas, I had the opportunity to talk to Buddhist monks in temples all over Asia. And I'd just walk into the temples, and a couple times, very occasionally, they would be open to talking to me in English, the ones that did speak English. And I had asked them, I was new to my spiritual journey and stuff. And I had just asked them, what is meditation to you guys? Like, I want to hear it from the real deal, the source, not some yoga instructor that thinks they know. I want to hear it from the real deal. And what these guys had told me at the most basic level, right? Meditation is becoming centered in yourself, right? Okay, well, and then they left me with that. They didn't want to give me the full answer. So I left, right? And I thought about that for a long time. But being centered in yourself is being present in yourself and in your environment around you. That's what I've come to, find it to mean. So how do you start that? How do you do that from just the most basic level, right? Well, I can tell you right now, one thing, you're going to have to give yourself a lot of grace and be really easy on yourself, because this is a big undertaking, to get control of your mind and your emotions. Yeah, it's a lifetime, something you do your entire life, but people have this unnecessary expectation that they're just going to get it after just trying it one time. Been doing this decades, and it's still hard sometimes. But when I was first starting out, what really worked for me was dedicating the first key is dedicating a certain time that you're going to do this. Like, you're locking out 30 minutes before you go to bed, or right when you wake up, or whatever it is. For me, it was when I went to bed. That was when I was the most able to do it. So, okay, I'm dedicating this 30 minutes. And if you can't do that, this 10 minutes, this 5 minutes to meditation, okay? Say your mind's racing with anxiety. What am I going to do tomorrow? You have thoughts of the future. Or, oh my God, I can't believe this happened to me today. Or, this is so hard today. Thoughts of the past. Okay? And so you're going to take, you have thoughts over here on the left in the past, and you have thoughts over here on the right in the future. You want to take your attention to now. Okay? And so here's a visualization technique that really helped. No, I'm not going to start with that. Here's something that really helped me, right? And it was feeling the energy in my body. Okay? So what do I mean by that? Say, I want you to just take a second and close your eyes, right? Have your hand right out in front of you. Don't open them. You can't see your eyes, right? You can't see your hand because your eyes are closed. Try to feel your hand without seeing it. Just try to feel it without seeing it. I tried that a couple times, and I literally could feel my hand without seeing it. And I was like, oh my God, this is feeling my energy right here. That's what feeling your energy is, right? Now, when you're laying down or you're sitting down, you can focus your attention on different parts of your body, right? Now what you're doing is taking your attention away from your thoughts and your emotions in your head, and you're putting your attention on your body. You're feeling the energy in your body. And then pretty soon you're going to get pretty damn good at it, and you can just do it in your entire body, head to toe. And pretty soon you're not thinking. You're not thinking. You're not thinking. Thoughts aren't really, you're not focused on them. And then since thoughts come from, or emotions come from thoughts, you're not, then your emotions kind of dissipate as well. Now, even if you can only do this a couple seconds, that's fine, right? But that's one way that I started doing it, when I dedicated that certain amount of time to meditating. And then I started focusing on the energy in my body, right? Took my attention away from my mind. And usually that was enough to get me to go to bed a lot of times. I had a lot of problems going to bed. So what's something else that really helped me out too, right? It's a visualization technique that I really kind of came up with. Is I closed my eyes, and say I was thinking about, I would visualize right on the left and right side of myself, to my ears, kind of by my ears was 2 garage doors. I know this sounds weird, but try it. 2 garage doors on my left and right side, and the left side was for the thoughts of the past, and the right side was thoughts of the future. And I would just visualize closing those doors, and then just visualize like myself in the moment, and then feel my energy. That was something that like further, kind of amplified that stuff. Amplified like trying to get to the present moment, right? And I did that for years. And pretty soon, what's cool, a lot of people like to do, to have maybe background noise or music going on, like the mega frequency music or whatever the heck people are doing these days. And I gotta make sure I don't got a tick on me here. Okay, that's just a scratch. Gotta be careful when you're in the woods, right? But yeah, some background noise or something to focus on, like that's also very helpful. You gotta try a bunch of different things and see what works for you, right? That stuff never really worked for me. I always preferred just silence. But that's just me, controlling my breathing. This is something I also kind of got into a little bit, right? Like I would always get into the deep, the deep inner stomach breathing right here, right? Like right down into my sea of chi, as Uncle Iroh would say from Avatar, Last Airbender. And right down here into my stomach, get into that breathing and like control the breath and like puff my chest out like a balloon, or my stomach out like a balloon, and like take that inhale, take the breath and put it right down into my stomach, and then I'd like deflate my stomach and push it all the way up to my head and all that. And I tried all that stuff, right? But like I was talking to a Buddhist monk in Thailand, and he had told me that, I was like, what do you guys do for breathing techniques? And he looks at me and he's like, dude, we just breathe. He's like, you Westerners, man. He's like, you guys are just so weird with your techniques and all your crap that you do. He's like, we literally just do what our body naturally does, which is just to breathe normally. I was like, who would have thought, right? And what a freaking, I was like, yep, us Americans, man, we're just a bunch of weirdos. Us Western folk, always trying to reinvent the wheel. And but that was I did all of this stuff for years, just so many years. But then what happens is what your meditation usually turns into is, once you can kind of get a grip on your thoughts and kind of silence your mind a little bit. This is never going to be perfect, right? But generally speaking, when you can do that in your head, that's when you can start to have some self-awareness of your day. You can start to do self-reflection and then gain awareness. Like say you start, then and I would say what naturally follows that is then throughout the day, right? You're doing introspection, and at night you're doing introspection of like, what's an example? When I was at work today, someone said a comment to me and it made me really mad. Why did it make me really mad? And then you start to do that introspection, right? And you start to kind of dig in deep right here. And then you might discover like, wow, like this made me mad because maybe this made me mad because it was an emotional trigger for me from like when I was a child. When someone would talk to me like that, I'd get extra mad. And that's where self-awareness comes into play. And then when you have self-awareness that comes into play, you start to bring that, that becomes less effective. Like you start to kind of bring it to the center. Like you become aware of why you're acting the way you're acting. And that's where spirituality comes into play, because then when you become aware of why you're acting the way you're acting, you can start to heal that stuff, and you can start to take ownership for that stuff. And then when you want to, right, if you even want to do any of this, but like if you don't want to be reactive to like what you've always been reactive, human beings are 99% like living unconsciously. It's like no one knows why they're doing what they're doing, because if they knew, I think deep down the mind knows, like if we bring this to the surface, ego is going to dissipate, right? because it's all ego. We're all just running through our ego, right? Which, but the point. So then I would say, like one of the more senior advanced levels of meditation is like you're not even seeing attaching to your entire ego anymore. Like you're viewing your thoughts and your emotions just from like out here, like right out in front of you, and your emotions and your thoughts, and you're just like detached from it because you're like completely in the lens of the viewer and the observer, the unreactive observer right here, right? Read Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now. Like he goes into a lot more depth of like how to do that. And then finally, I would say, so that's how you would just start meditating, right? For everyone that's still watching this video. Another thing that my meditation kind of started to evolve into on like still more basic level is I would start to observe my thoughts and my emotions. I wouldn't try to judge them or change them or anything. I would just observe them. I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like this. And then like start to separate yourself from it. Like visualize your thoughts and your emotions right out here. It's like an image of them like right out in front of you, and you can just observe it. And then the closer you get, or the further and further away, the more detached you get from your thoughts and your emotions. That's when you become unreactive to them, and you just start to see that this is all, we're all just like living lives through our sensitive, fragile egos, and there's a lot more to life than we think. But that's for another video. Who is your mind talking to? So, but yeah, I would say that's how you start meditation. All right. Hope everyone has a great day.